Hello, we are going to continue our intro to Unix and working with files. So at the moment, I am logged into an Ubuntu machine and I am in the home www.admin directory. So I'm logged in as www.admin and this is where it brought me in when I logged in. And I want to take a look at what kind of folders I have in this, folders and files I have in this directory already. So if I do a listing for this directory, I see they have a couple of check LaTeX files, whatever those are, a bunch of subdirectories which were created or made for me, and then something called examples.desktop. Okay, now what I want to do next is I want to make a directory. So I'm going to make directory, and I'm going to call it video examples. Best practice is to use underscores when you want to separate words. If you try to use this some kind of slash symbol, well, that's already part of a directory, so you might run into problems with that. And then I'm going to change directories to video examples. And in video examples, well, there's nothing in here to see at this point. I want to create a text file. So I'm going to use a text editor, Nano. I'm going to suppose that there are some Linux or Unix people out there that are going to toss a fit if they see me using Nano. I find in Nano really easy to use. It's lightweight, and for doing simple stuff, it works just fine. There are other text editors available to you. If you want to learn more about those, just do a Google search. All right, so we're going to do Nano and do a Linux example. And unlike in Windows, which you're probably used to, we are going to specify the extension. And so in Windows, if you're creating a Word doc, then it puts a doc or docx on it. In fact, it's kind of fussy about it. It's pretty hard to get Word to do anything but put a doc or docx on the end of it. Even if you specify an extension, it just goes ahead and tacks on its own extension on the end of your extension, which I find a little bit obnoxious. And so here you have to specify the extension, or should. Okay, so I'm going to create this Linux example, and let's see. I guess that will be enough. I'm going to save this using the write out option, Control O. I'll write it, and then I'm going to exit using Control X. So you can see there's a little menu down there at the bottom of the screen. I can bring that up again. There's a little menu down here which gives you all the options that you need to use. And so I'm going to get out of here. Sorry, I had to take a little break there to turn off a fan. It came on, it was kind of loud. All right, so I've created this text file, and now I'm going to go back up to my home directory. So let's just make sure I'm in the right spot for a working directory. Okay, great. Now, suppose that I logged in and said, oh man, I created this file and I don't remember where I put it. Where could it be? How do I do that? Okay, so what I'm going to do next is use the find command. So it's find, and then we have to specify where we're going to look. So we're going to look in the current directory. I'm looking for the name of a file, and the file that I'm looking for was, let's see, what do we call this? Linux example. So if you know the name of the file, you can just go ahead and type that in, and we'll look. And we don't have permissions to get into a couple of things, but then it prints out that we're in video examples. It found a Linux example.txt. So there is our file. Okay, so again, find current directory, name Linux example.txt. If we were, let's see, I want to be a little bit careful here. So if I go into, well, actually, if I go to the root directory, Okay, if you do that same find command in the root directory, so for the little example I did, it may not seem really clear why you need find. I mean, you logged in, it was only one subdirectory down, how hard could that be? But in a Linux operating environment, I mean, you've got all these folders, and these folders contain subfolders. Just this op directory here contains thousands upon thousands of files. So if I do find here, so we got a bunch of permissions denied, and then it just hangs. It's hanging because it's still searching, but it's going to be searching for a little while. So I'm going to just go ahead and kill this by hitting Control C, and I'm going to try this again, and remember that this was in my home directory. So again, it's find and home, and the more specific you can be here, the faster things are going to be. If you try just doing everything from the root directory, well, expect it to take a while. Okay, so then it finds it again. All right, well, the next thing is, that's great, so I can find files, but what if I don't know the name of the file? What if we want to find a file that contains a keyword? So the command that you want is grep. And unlike find, when you give it the directory, actually automatically starts searching the directory that you give it, and then looks through all the subdirectories too. But grep is not going to work that way. Grep is going to search the current directory. So to get it to go through all the subdirectories, you have to specify a .r switch. So this turns on recursive searching, which means then it's going to go looking about in subdirectories. Okay, so we're going to look for, let's see, we're going to look for the word Torvald, which was in one of our files. Actually, it was Torvalds. I went back and changed it to Torvald during the intermission, which you didn't get to see because I'm going to edit that part out. Where I'm going to start looking is in the current directory. So let's go ahead and see if anything good comes out of that. So we get a lot of permission denied. Oh, we're hanging up. Did I not change? Oh, where am I? Oh, I'm in the root directory. Don't want to do a search for Torvald there. Okay, where I was. Let's go ahead and search in home directory, which will be a lot shorter. So the problem was that, let's back this up a little bit. It's doing grep, but I was in the root directory, not in the home directory. I'd forgotten I'd switched over to the root directory. So I am searching basically now through all the files on the entire operating system for the word through the files and looking for a file that contains the word Torvald. That is going to take an awfully long time. There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of files in this system, which is part of the reason why having commands like find and grep is so useful. All right, so what I need to do here, I'm using up arrow again to search through my list of previously typed commands, and I want to switch this over to looking through the home directory. Maybe get a little bit more. Okay, so here we go. We have one example.txt contains the word Torvald. No, wait a minute. This isn't the one that we made though. This is in a different directory, documents, example.txt. Let's go see what that is. So I'm going to cd home www.admin documents, and let's take a look at this file. Well, that sure enough contains the word Torvald. But that's not exactly what I wanted. This was a different text file that I had created for this kind of thing. So that's not the file I wanted. What's the problem here? You know what? Torvald is actually a name. I wonder if it's got a capital letter in it. Let's go back to the root directory, and let's try this grep again. But in addition to the search recursively switch, I'm going to make the switch or the search case insensitive, so that if the Torvald contains a capital T, for example, it will find it. So we're going to throw an I switch on this, and oh, and I forgot once again. Let's see. Oh, it is searching in the home directory. I'm wondering. Oh, well, see, I should have searched for Torvald also on a Unix machine, because it turns out his name comes up. So, Linus Torvald is famous for actually having made Linux, not Unix, Linux. And so perhaps I shouldn't be using Torvald, but getting this. So it's printing out the full file here. Something. I don't even know what this file is. Oh, I see. So this is a file name right here, and then here is the section that the Torvald came out of. And yeah. Okay, so here are all the files in www.admin that contain the word Torvald. Guess this turned out to be an okay example. This wasn't exactly what I was looking for. At least I got it right here. It's Linux, not Linux. Okay, so the grep command allows you to look for files inside, or I'm sorry, keywords inside of files, and then I think I'm done with some of this stuff. So I'm going to go back to my directory here. Inside of video examples, let's get an underscore in it. I'm going to get rid of that file. So there's a couple of ways I could do this. I could remove and type out the file name linuxexample.txt, or I can just be a little bit more heavy-handed about the whole thing and just remove everything in the directory. So remove star removes everything in the directory. If you want to live really dangerously, you can put the recursive switch on it. That will remove everything in the directory and all of its subdirectories. Probably not something you want to do when you're in the root directory, unless you want to totally wipe out your operating system. Again, with Linux, it's a very powerful operating system. You have a lot of power to do things. Maybe not all the time. You should. Anyways, so I'm going to get rid of that. And so RM is for remove. And then let's do a quick look here. And I don't want that directory anymore, video examples, so I'm going to remove the directory, which is RM directory, video examples. Okay, so some very, very basic information on some Linux commands. We saw how to make a directory. We saw how to create a text file using nano, and we saw how to look for files using find and grep. And then we also found out how to remove files using RM and remove a directory.